Attention gamers, in case you haven't heard, Riot Games is taking this adorable malnourished scarecrow, and turning him into a full-blown horror film, and the plan is for this skinny bag of hay to go from innocently sharing pixie sticks with his enemies to soul-sucking the living shit out of his poor victims. The rift is going to be turned into a butt-clenching scare house with this monster, so I figured I would give into the hype and make a video on this straw man. However, your boy Rav has a full-time job and a wife, so unlike some YouTubers that have 10 people on payroll to play PvE with them and let them lock in the newest champ only to try their hardest in the game to make the feeding frenzy look authentic, there just wasn't time for this naked Eskimo to sit through 46 dodged lobbies for this content. So I figured I would just hit the live servers and lock in this anorexic effigy to piss people off in the bot lane by making hooded midgets play hot potato with my dove dicks, or hit some unsuspecting victims with the good old surprise enjoy this flock of horny crows, so that in 5 months from now, when you and your boys have hit that banana bong one too many times and are reminiscing over how much better your life was before Fiddlesticks became the sequel to The Exorcist, you can come back to this video as the final tribute to this skipping scarecrow. Now please pay your respects to the old Fiddle by slapping a juicy thumbs up on this video and subscribing if you are new before we hop into the final games on this old anorexic bag of hay. The runes I took were purely based off of pissing people off, so arcane comet, so that games of hot potato with my dove would rain M&Ms till the donkeys are diabetic, and mana flow band to make me last longer in bed than Transcendence Gathering Storm, and Ultimate Hunter all to make my flock of crows a bunch of angry horned dogs that can come out for molest fests more often, and finally cheap shot so that after I scare someone with a spooky story I can spank their ass just a bit harder. And lastly, if you are wondering why Cassidon's daughter found out she has a twin sister in this game, it's because it's just a norm. So I apologize to the 6E low peen strokers who expected this tribute of the old hay bag to be a guide on how to climb with a kit that will be removed from the game in like 5 days. I can already see your fingerprints on that dislike button. But for the loyal ones who are still here, the game starts off with the rusty robot giving me a long-ranged handshake, but thankfully Plasma Patty runs up to tell her twin sister to piss off as the walking school bus chases until I hit him with the T-pose suck special and wait for Patty to come back and take him down. Then, like a professional support, I am just casually overextended with almost 2 charges on my warding totem and less vision than the blind monk coming down to drop kick me, but luckily he is a total pussy and immediately runs away as Mr. Tin Twat sprints in. The Mac Dad makes Kaisa jump and then she overextends only to come running back crying as the Sonic shitter tries to drop kick those thighs. The turret says what's up, and then right before he gets away I scare the blind bitch shitless and slap a fiddle bass drum auto on the robot to clean up the fight. A few minutes later and I am just being a peeping Tom in the bushes looking at those thick thighs and wondering if a bony bag of straw like me would ever have a chance, and then I make my move. I casually poured out of the bushes telling her a scary story as an icebreaker, and I think our first date went pretty well. I am just coming back from my support duties of warding a bush when Blitz runs up to shake my hand, but I decline and introduce him to my horny crow flock of a cock instead. We have a quick dance party and then I get a little thirsty, so I straw suck some Mountain Dew out of the robot as Plasma Patty and her twin argue over who gets top bunk, but Patty ends up winning and we take home the W. Then me and Kaisa run up to their tower to splatter crow shit all over it, but the rusty school bus is swinging his arms in disapproval as he comes up to ult the wave, but I silence the shitter before we take him down. Then the kickboxing sensei comes down to cut off our escape plan, and so I have to whip out and show him the picture of toe fungus that I keep in my pocket at all times to scare him off. I run up river and tell a campfire story to Mommy Longlegs, which scares the literal flash out of her, but then she regains her composure and thigh humps the mountain to come flying back at me. I kite back and take a whiff of the dead scuttle crab carcass to wake me up as Wukong leaves Blitz hanging for a high five and Lee pulls off a Sonic. I suck ass at this game, but playtime isn't over for this anorexic scarecrow, so I check if they want to play a quick game of surprise you all gonna be dead bitches now as I crow cuck 3 of them back to the graveyard. I see Plasma Patty's twin picking on a frog for being overweight, so I get all amped up in a bush and poured over to tell her what a bitch move that is and that I won't tolerate it. I then pet the frog once to make sure he's okay and continue on my way. Then Dunkmaster Dumbshit gets a little too confident with how broken his champion is and steps into the danger zone, so I flash him a quick pic of Aunt Betty's left tit to disorient him before I nail a fat T-pose and green slurp the dick to death. Camille thigh humps the turret stump to launch herself into battle, then Blitz flashes in and spins around to show off what he's wearing before I toss them a purple dove to play hot potato with. Metal Mitts chases and ults before he goes down when I decide I have had enough and ult to end the fight, swinging a massive crow cock over the rest of them. Dunkmaster Dumbshit taunts me by filleting his axe until he realizes that me and Plasma Patty are fed as fuck and tries to do a quick spin to heal up, but I pull out the fungus pick again to scare him and we take him down. I pinch a wet fart into a purple bag and toss it over to Darius, then skip away giggling, but it really pissed him off and he pulls me back, so I show him my appendectomy scar to scare him off. Turns out the gang doesn't find the fart prank funny and wants to beat me up, so I tell them I have to step out for a minute to take a quick call. But the joke's on them. I port back in to say psych, there was no call, get pranked you dead monkeys, before sending one more fart bomb at mommy long legs, and then I finish off my ultimate prank with a good soul suck on the rusty school bus. Dunkmaster Dumbshit is sucking off his axe again like it's a joke, so I run up to show him a picture of genital herpes to scare him into taking it seriously before hitting a perfect form T-pose green Slurpee boy for the kill. I try not to be suspicious as I hobble behind this wall only to play a quick game of surprise bitches. Here's a hypnosis circle and some hormonal crows to take down Lee as Inspector Gadget's wife flees away. Then I run up top to make sure Darius is processing my last sex ed class as Talon goes full Beyblade on his ass, and I come in just to make faces at the Axeman as he dies. Then I run up to say trick or treat and demand some candy, but Lee promptly drop kicks me in the face and Blitzcrank eagerly greets one of our super minions with a handshake. I then forget that Darius is still broken dogshit and find myself in the middle of their team, so I do my best trophy impersonation to reassess. I wake up and throw a steaming hot potato at the two of them to burn all hands involved in Soul Suck Blitz just before Patty's twin takes me down and they get into some sister mimic fest to finish off the fight. My team finishes off the game with ease and then unanimously votes me class president for having such a star performance on the Rift and representing for all old fiddles on the damage meters. And because I had so much fun pissing people off rocking this skinny scarecrow as support that I figured I would play one final game on him. I start off this game by assuming pedophile position in the bush only to poke out and say boo to Jinx, forcing her flash as her useless floating clock does nothing but tell her that his stomach says it's time to back because she's getting shit on. I run up to scrape my initials into the tower only to see dumbass Jinx backing, so I send a purple messenger bird her way to tell her to chortle my scarecrow balls. The albino gun fetish slut is mispositioned and her clock is playing 3 zip codes back, so I dish a dove at the hoe and tell her a spooky story. Draven enters the fight just in time to get hit by every single skill shot that they have while not understanding how to disengage from a fight and continues waving his micropenis around, so I throw my hands up and summon the crows to circle these sluts. I port in and set a match to the blue hair before I finish crow banging them both to sleep, to which Draven says, "This good?" because he realized while his uncoordinated ass is struggling to catch one damn axe I have proven myself able to carry his sped mini dick. So I run around the long way scanning for where the Wi-Fi is the strongest only to super non-suspiciously strike a fierce T-pose in lane and then port in and wither down the pale skinned punk rocker, burning her heel and taking her down, then turning back to put this fat ass clock in a timeout with a green soul suck special. We are taking dragon and I see 3 of them approaching, so I pretend to be practicing my social distancing only to charge up a fat ult and say psych, scarecrows can't catch viruses, but these crows are pissed off and sit on Jinx until she flashes away and fires an ult 16 feet away from the closest enemy as I chase her down and slurp just one more sip of Mountain Dew for the kill. Then our 8-eyed Jedi is mocking their team until he gets pinned dicked, so I whip out the toe fungus pick to scare him off as the salamander dashes in and Jarvan goes full Mount Vesuvius on my ass, so I turn myself into a golden boy and then kite back and wait for Master Yi to do what Master Yis do best, jam his forehead against his right click button until they are all dead. Then I come back to say boo to albino blue braids and Mr. Spin to win is spinning but not quite winning this one and starts to retreat. We chase the dumbass down as my jungler cat cucks him on repeat until I decide to flash in to escort her last spear in for the kill. The final game on Fiddle ends in a prompt 15-minute surrender due to the power of this anorexic scarecrow, well, and a legendary Master Yi, and a fed Annie, but the Draven was still a dumb shit. Now join me in waving farewell to the old Fiddle one final time. Also, Many of you have asked, so I am announcing the opening of the RAV Discord channel with a few hundred members already waiting for the party, and I plan to be pretty active on it, so check the description for the link to join, and huge shout out to Asu for setting it all up and all of my new mods so far. And lastly, shout out to the rest of the Eskimos for keeping this community alive and growing like a tit wart. I appreciate all of you, and we'll see you all in the comments. Brush your teeth tonight, damn it. RAV out.